Valley View Living Vegetarian Edition. Would you believe it? Yes, we are a little farm that we don't make any meat. We raise our own meat. We have cows and pigs and chickens and all that kind of thing going on. But on the other hand, I love veggies. I love veggies and I love fruit, and I love turning them into ways that my family will enjoy. So today I'm going to get into some veggie cookery, which is just a happy circumstance of being gifted some beautiful garden greens from some family friends. So it was very inspiring to turn them into a lovely lunch today. But before lunch comes breakfast, right? So this morning I want to get a breakfast done that is one and done. That means every member of the household can eat this and be ready for the next whatever is on the agenda. And I'm going to just make these sourdough crepes. Now, they're not fermented, they're not actually soured in any way. It really is just a way of pouring the sourdough discard that might otherwise be wasted into the crepe mixture so that I'm using it. And also, I'm sure that we are getting some kind of beneficial, good bacteria from consuming the sourdough culture, even if we're not using it to actually ferment the item that we're eating. So these crepes are so easy. Honestly, is it even a crepe? It's really just a very thin pancake. I'm sure that a French person would be horrified at me calling this a crepe. So it is really just some of the baker's flour that we have, 2 eggs, milk to, the right consistency, and some melted butter. I think that's everything. And the nice thing about these kind of really thin pancake is, well, I don't know, it kind of looks special, so kids are happy with it. But also it's very easily customizable. So I can have mine with a fried egg on top if I want a protein hit, and the kids can have it with some of this icing sugar that I've now realized, 6 months on, I've still got nearly 5 kilos of this stuff. So I'm trying to use it up over the holiday season. Or people can put butter in it and maple syrup on top. And another favorite that the kids have around here is to squeeze fresh lemon juice over the top and then just sprinkle it with coconut sugar. Now, adding the sourdough discard to this kind of baking, along with the cinnamon rolls that we made earlier this week, it really does add a beautiful, pleasant chewiness and a lovely tang. Just adds a little bit of, maybe sophistication to usual baking and breakfast dishes. I really do love the depth of flavor that it brings. I wonder how long, though, I will keep up a sourdough routine without burning out, because of course it is a lot to become responsible for baking all your own bread, on top of normal everyday life. Am I still enjoying it? Yes. I love the reward of pulling hot bread out of the oven. I've actually started a routine where I am mixing up 2 loaves every second day and then baking both of them one after the other on one morning. That's working well, and it means that I don't just have a whole fresh loaf that is eaten all at once and then no bread left over, which has happened on other days. Now, on this day, I do actually have some rare quiet time in the kitchen. My little folks are off at a homeschool get-together excursion kind of thing with grandparents, and I just have myself and my baby home. So she's just not quite old enough to join in the fun when mum doesn't go along as well. So she's going to hang out with me at home, and we are going to make a lunch that, once I have made this, can just sit on the bench top and be ready to eat at room temperature and be just as delicious. In fact, probably even more so than when it was first baked and hot out of the oven. So we were gifted this huge bunch of Silverbeet. Now, when I think of Silverbeet, I just think of subbing it into any recipe that has spinach in it. And when I think about something quick, easy, tasty, family friendly, and delicious, I think of spinach and cheese, hand pies, or triangles, or pasties, whatever we want to call them. I think, is spanakopita the same thing? I'm not sure, but that is also another term I think of with this lovely cheesy and spinachy and a bit of garlic in there. I've put dill and parsley in as well because it's what I have in the garden at the moment, and they just turned out so delicious, crispy, really light and fluffy inside. And a great way to get my kids eating these luscious greens that are so very good for us. Now, all I'm going to do is just strip the Silverbeet off the stem. Of course, I have given this a very thorough wash. Whenever you are dealing with a big bunch of anything from a beautiful, thriving, organic garden, it is going to have life on it. And this was no different. So a good shake off at first, and that got rid of the first layer of slugs and bugs, and then a very detailed clean afterwards, so I am sure every little piece is perfect and ready to eat. All I'm going to do with this, and I think this is the best way to deal with these kinds of leafy greens, is saute it. So I don't feel like boiling or steaming brings out the best flavor in a leafy green that is already quite high in moisture, but it is very tasty just to saute off in butter. I mean, what isn't really? Is there anything that isn't delicious sauteed in butter? So very easy. This only takes a few minutes just on the pan over a medium heat, and I'm actually going to cut up some of our freshly harvested garlic as well. The thing I like about using fresh garlic actually is that the flavor is so pronounced that you can use a lot less of it. So I only need about half a head, maybe 4 small cloves here. Just going to dice that up and pop it in the pan with the greens right as the greens are finishing up with the saute. Over in our veggie patch at the moment, actually, it must just be due to the higher overnight temps. I think once you get to that point of the year where it is not cold overnight anymore, it is quite pleasant, that is when the garden really starts to thrive, isn't it? So right now, what is really doing well in our veggie patch is the tomatoes, the little tomato seeds that I planted. I actually bought some seeds off eBay. They were dirt cheap, and they were just from a home gardener who harvests their own seeds and pops them in the post super cheap. And they came, just wrapped in paper, fantastic. And they have absolutely thrived. So I think I had like a 100% germination rate or something ridiculous like that. So they've done so well with their home crop. And these little tomatoes are just thriving. They're coming up so nicely. Some of the plants have started to flower already. So I guess I have to think about getting out there and staking up those bushes, because I know that once the fruit starts to come in the next, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks maybe, then I will need to sort of prop them up a bit to get as much as we can out of each plant. So we also had a beautiful bunch of beetroot from the same backyard veggie patch from these family friends, and it is just so beautifully vibrant and fresh. I have just given it a good scrub under some running water, topped and tailed, and I have not worried about the skins yet. I have popped it straight into a boiling pot of water. I'm just going to let them simmer for about 40 minutes, and then I'm going to do my favorite thing probably to do with beetroot, although I do enjoy quite a few different beetroot recipes, so maybe that's not quite true. I'm going to do a lovely fridge pickle. Now I've taken these beautiful greens off the heat, just letting them cool for a few moments. It doesn't take long, maybe 2-3 minutes. I'm going to put in the fresh parsley and dill from the garden. These herbs worked really well, but I'm sure many others would as well. I'm just going to crumble in a 200-gram block of feta cheese, and I do find that this Woolworths own brand of feta is really tasty. So I haven't really deviated outside that. I just go ahead and buy that one. And I'm going to crack in 1 egg and some salt and pepper, and that's it. Now here comes the Pampers Butter Puff again. We've used this not too long ago for some sausage rolls as well, and it's just so simple. I don't know. It's not something that we use all the time. It's almost like it's something that I go through runs of using. Do you ever feel that you're like that in the kitchen? You'll have this sort of phase where you really enjoy one certain ingredient and you'll just find you using it over and over again in all these different ways, and then, you'll move on. You'll get tired of it and you won't use it again for months, if not longer. That's how I feel like I am with puff pastry. But because I haven't used it for so long, it's kind of fresh in my kitchen repertoire. It's something different, and it's also a crowd pleaser. It's something I can make taste different ways to suit different members of the family. So actually, while I am making these lovely spinach and cheese pies, I'm also going to pull out some sausages that I've had in the freezer for a little while and I need to get used up. And for the people in my family who would not touch spinach unless they were absolutely starving to death, I'm going to make some sausage rolls on the side for them. Now I'm absolutely certain there is a prettier way to crimp these little hand pies together, but I am just going with a mum get it done style, squishing it together and just sort of plaiting it over a bit, just making sure everything is holding together basically. And I do feel like adding an egg into the mix, and this mix was so simple. It was literally just the Silverbeet, feta, and an egg. It was so delicious. It didn't need anything else in it at all. So something about the egg really binds it, holds it together, and makes sure the filling is just right, but it's not heavy or weighed down or wet. It's really light and fluffy. I find it so peaceful to work alone in the kitchen. It is rare for me. There's always interruptions in the life of a mum, and that's just how it is. They're happy interruptions, You want to be around your kids, and that's totally fine. But if you have the time to really get in the zone and be in there alone, it almost feels like cooking in itself is such a meditative act for me. I love it. I really do enjoy it on a personal level. But on the other hand, I've got my little person here and she is not going to be content working in the kitchen all day. So let's go outside and get some fresh air. We are having a lovely run of warm sunny days. It was actually around 30 degrees today, but a light breeze and it just felt absolutely heavenly. Honestly, sometimes it just does, doesn't it? In those in-between phases of the weather, no matter where you live around Australia, I bet there's patches where the weather just feels perfect. It doesn't really hang around for long, I know, because we have extreme summers here, or we live in places that get very cold. But there are just some gorgeous patches in the year. I know when I lived in the subtropics around October was perfect for a few weeks, and down here it feels like the lead up into December, January is just so lovely. Now the chickens are doing well, and I cannot believe that Speckled, our Sussex hen, she has kept her 4 baby chicks alive and thriving so well. But we do have a thief in the chook house, and I am not impressed. We haven't been entirely sure where all our eggs are going, but we'd had our eye on a currawong who seems to be hanging around the chook pen at any kind of opportune time. Now, as I was walking through the paddocks and checking on the cows a couple of days ago, I noticed all these broken egg shells scattered upon the paddock, and that is the clue that we needed to work out that these birds are swooping into the chook pen, stealing our eggs and bringing them out and eating them. There is always something on a little farm. There's always something trying to compete with you to take your hard worked for food, that's for sure. So I don't know, what should I do? I guess really long term I do need to pen over the entire, cover the entire chook pen with netting so that it's 100% sealed, and of course that's going to keep any chicks safe as well. So that might be the best thing to do, but I don't know what to do right now. Maybe I should get a scarecrow. So for this pickle mix, I am just going to use, I think it was a cup of apple cider vinegar to 1 cup of water and about 3 tablespoons of coconut sugar. I've just ransacked the garden for any suitable herbs, and I found thyme, rosemary, and of course bay leaves. That's all I'm going to pop in here, along with salt and pepper. And 24 hours later, these fridge pickled beetroot were absolutely amazing. So much better than anything that you can buy, which just, even though I do like tin beetroot from the shops and I tend to keep it in stock in my pantry, when it's home pickled, you really can control the seasonings and, the sweetness, the sweet and sour interplay, however you prefer it. And of course, adding whatever herbs that you have. It's such a great way to take something like beetroot from the garden and just make it ready for you in the fridge so that you can pull it out to serve with lunches and dinners with absolutely no effort. So after this beetroot has boiled just to soft, when I pierce it with a fork, I'm just going to pull it out, and while I'm running the boiled beetroot under cold water, the skins just slipped right off, which made it so simple. Then I just slice it thinly, and then once this pickle mix is ready, we will just layer it in a jar with our seasonings. I find that it tastes best after you've refrigerated it for at least 1 day, so 24 hours, and it just gets better with time, and this will last a few weeks in the fridge for sure, except you're going to eat it before then. So with the gifted Silverbeet bunch, with the herbs from the garden, and just buying the puff pastry, the feta cheese, using 1 egg, and I'm also including the 500 grams of sausages that I used for the non-Silverbeet eaters today. This worked out to about $3.20 per serve for this lunch, which I think is pretty reasonable for something tasty and made at home and good quality. I love it when I can use things that are gifted to me in this way to feed my family. It's just such a satisfying thing to do. Thanks for joining me today. I do appreciate your company here. And if you have enjoyed this content, please feel free to like or comment or subscribe, and that way I will see you next time. Bye!